Judica County is brought to you by Whitaker and Hamer, attorneys and counselors at law, your law firm for life.
Welcome back into Judica County Radio. Your host, Josh Whitaker and Joe Hamer, managing partners, Whitaker and Hamer Law Firm, practicing attorneys here in North Carolina. And the motto is your law firm for life. Offices located in Raleigh, Garner, Clayton, Goldsboro, Fuquay-Varina, Gastonia, and Morehead City. So they have offices everywhere for you. If you've got a legal situation you're facing and you need answers to those questions, you can always call the firm. 800-659-1186. That's 800-659-1186. Leave your contact information, briefly what the call is about, and an attorney with Whitaker and Hamer will be in touch. And you can email your questions to info@judicacounty.com. Josh, take it away.
You know, we started out this radio show. We started out our show today telling you we were a little bit tired. We stayed out a little late, which is the way you want to start out a show.
Yeah, you Eeyored it. You really did. You came in with just a black cloud. So explain yourself.
Did a ghost just walk through here?
No, that was a guy I know.
Okay. That was really throwing me off, man. Because you're like acting like I thought I saw a ghost, man.
No, there was a weird noise.
Right, good.
And it was a guy.
Good.
Sorry.
Carry on. Sorry about that, man. You're sad and depressed. That's where we were going.
I'm
with
not
this.
sad and depressed. I am a little bit tired. And Joseph, I think you're tired too. We went out. We went out
partying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun times, man. Saw David Chappelle.
What's his middle name, I wonder?
Well, that's about all you can say
things,
about
man.
that, right? You can't really
man.
relay any of the
We
stories.
couldn't video it.
Yeah. They lock your phones up tight. I couldn't do his jokes, man. You can't.
He's not really. It's not jokey jokes.
But I had a good time, man. He was funny. He's David Kyrie. I don't know if I said that right. Weber Chappelle.
Oh, he's got 4 names.
Very funny fellow, man.
It was funny. You know, they were telling me, the PNC staff was telling me that is I don't know if it's official, but he was telling me they thought that was going to be the most people ever in PNC for anything.
Oh, wow.
I think the previous record was a Metallica concert, which I was at, and it was packed.
Oh, we made the New York Times is talking about his comments from last night. That's pretty interesting.
He didn't say anything crazy.
Yeah, they're talking. He called the situation in Israel a nightmare for everyone, and so they're.
Why is that news?
I don't know, man. He did say it would be though, right?
Yeah, he did. It was interesting. It was a long show though, and it was on a weekday night.
It was on a Thursday night.
Yeah, it was a weekday night, so we're building up momentum.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to find it, man. I'm looking over there at you, man. And
now, was this your
you.
first Chappelle show?
Yeah, first time I've seen him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him before.
Okay, without telling us too much, what'd you think?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, man. I would call it great, honestly.
Mm-hmm,
and I mean, we've seen a lot of stand-up comedy.
Okay.
And seen some good, some bad, some better than others. And this was right at the top, man. Well, I don't know if it was the best, but it was close to the top.
Yeah, his comedy's not the type of comedy that's going to keep you rolling. It's more of a thinking.
I don't know. I laughed a lot. You seemed tired then too, man.
I was tired.
Have you been getting your nutrients?
I don't know, man. I might need to go for my physical. I was tired of this show, but that was late for me, man. I go to bed early. Anyway, let's answer some questions.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, we're going to answer a mystery question.
There you go. There's some pep in your step.
And the first question I have, and this sounds like a simple question on its face. I do like this question. There's a million. This is a question about trust, and I haven't asked the question yet. I'll go and ask the question. And this sounds easy, right? What's the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust?
I thought you were going Jeopardy style and you were going to do the answer and then I was going to have to figure out the question.
So this person is basically, he's heard these terms. He's asking, what's the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? And there's one big difference, which I guess will be kind of obvious and we'll talk about it, but there's not a million, literally, figuratively, there's like a million different types of trusts that are put together to accomplish different things. And those trusts fall into like bigger categories. And one category is there's a bunch of different types of trusts that can be revocable, meaning during your life, the parties to a trust. I feel like I keep backtracking like different levels.
I think you're doing great, man. If I'm giving you a grade, you're getting a solid B- right now.
When you create a trust, we call you the trustor or the settler. You're the one creating the trust. There's also a trustee. That's the one who's going to be managing the trust assets. So the settler is the one who's creating the trust. The trustee is the one who's managing the trust, and then there's a beneficiary. There's 3 parties in a trust. It can be more parties, but there's at least 3.
So basically, the settlor is putting property into the trustee's possession for the benefit of the beneficiaries.
That's right.
You got the breakdown.
You got a settlor, a trustee, and a beneficiary. And you have multiple beneficiaries. You can have multiple trustees. You can have multiple settlors. But you have to have one of each. Those are the 3 parties you have to create a trust. And in that trust, sometimes sometimes Josh Whitaker is the trustee, the trustor, and the beneficiary.
Yeah, sometimes. Pretty sweet trust. Selfish. It's a selfish trust.
But if that's the case and I make my trust revocable, that means at any given time I can revoke this trust. So any of the assets that are in this trust that I put in this trust, if I revoke it, they're all mine again. So it's a revocable trust.
It's a real Josh Whitaker thing to do, man.
Now, there's reasons why I might want to make this irrevocable, all kinds of reasons that we can talk about. But if I make it irrevocable, then obviously there's going to be something that doesn't allow me to just revoke it. If I create an irrevocable trust, in theory, that trust is going to exist no matter what I do next.
Yeah, there you go.
So
you nailed it.
That's the easy answer.
I think that woke you up, man.
But the irrevocable trust, a lot of times you'll do those because sometimes you're putting assets into a trust that are meant for beneficiaries later down the road, and you all have kind of an agreement that you're not going to revoke it because those assets need to go to those people at a certain time, and you being able to revoke it would ruin the trust. But there's somebody should count the number of different trusts that you could have.
That sounds like a project for not me.
Sounds limitless.
Sounds like a project for you.
So that's the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable trust. We use both of those trusts in estate plans, depending on fact patterns and who you have to provide for. But they're good tools for an estate planning attorney. So that was our first mystery question. So hopefully everybody knows the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable trust going forward. If somebody mentions a trust 25 years from now after I passed away and Joe stops doing the radio show, you'll remember.
I'll never stop, man. Remember we talked about the advancements in technology, and we're bringing a robot version of you back, a hologram that's going to sit right there and be tired just like you.
An AI
AI Joshua.
All right. If you have any questions about trust, you can always call the firm 800-659-1186. That's 800-659-1186. Leave your contact information. We know what the call is going to be about. It's going to be about trusts, and you can get some answers to your question. And you can also email your questions to this show, info@judicacounty.com. What's up next?
All right. The next mystery question coming up is we're going to talk more about it's another difference question. It's somebody asking the difference between litigation versus mediation versus arbitration. So those are terms that you hear a lot in day to day, just the news and society, and they all have a slightly different meaning, right? So arbitration versus mediation versus litigation. What are they? What are the differences? What are the similarities?
Yeah, I'll give you just a broad overview, and then I'll let you keep going on it, because I'm telling you, man, as you talk about these legal issues, your face just lights up. I can see the life return into your body, man. So I think it's good. Like this coffee I'm drinking, you talking about the law is like coffee to you. So at a fundamental level, we'll talk about arbitration. We'll talk about mediation. Similar in the sense that you've got parties that are coming to the table to resolve a dispute. So there's a similarity for you. Different in the sense that when you're talking about arbitration, you're talking about you've got the arbitrator who is listening to the facts and the evidence, and they're going to essentially render their own award or judgment or verdict on the matter. Whereas when you're talking about mediation, you're talking about the parties. They're still coming together. There's still a third party there, but they're not really issuing any kind of binding judgment. They're not making any kind of calls. They're just trying to keep the ball rolling and keep things moving and keep both parties working towards a resolution, kind of try to find a common ground. But they can't outright just say, hey, this is who's right, this is who's wrong, this is which direction we're going to go with this. So
yeah, and so you can have a contract. A lot of times you see arbitration and mediation. Litigation's obviously the last step, right? As if me and Joe have a dispute, I decide there's no other way around it, I'm going to sue him. and then we're going to litigate, right? We're going to go through discovery. We're going to have a trial. That's litigation. A lot of times you can have a contract that calls for binding arbitration or non-binding arbitration. You can have a contract that makes you go through an additional step. And the thought is that saves money and attorney's fees and time. Arbitration is a little quicker than litigation can drag on. And so that's where we see that a lot. We see folks who are in a dispute in a contract and they have agreed in that contract, sometimes without really knowing, but they've agreed to non-binding arbitration. And so there's third party, just companies that do that kind of thing. And you have an arbitrator, you guys kind of pitch your side, and then that arbitrator will have a decision, and that can be binding or non-binding depending on the contract. But that's kind of where you see arbitration come up a lot. But three distinct things that come up different places in different states. Those words kind of have different meanings depending on the court system and what they require. But that is arbitration versus mediation versus litigation.
Judica County Radio, Josh Whitaker and Joe Hamer, managing partners, Whitaker and Hamer Law Firm, practicing attorneys here in North Carolina. Your law firm for life. They have offices conveniently located for you in Raleigh, Garner, Clayton, Goldsboro, Fuquay-Varina, Gastonia, and Morehead City. If you're facing a legal situation, you have questions, and you need some answers, you can always call Whitaker and Hamer, 800-659-1186. Leave your contact information, briefly what the call's about, and an attorney will be in touch. Again, that number, 800-659-1186. And you can always email your questions to the show, info@judicacounty.com. We've got more legal questions coming up on the other side.